How funny is that this thing is called?
That's a very sweet name. I love the name, by the way, because it means two-sided, like two-faced, almost a copy of the other side, but negative.
Yeah, we should start this episode right there, and no one else would know what the name was.
Yeah, why not?
How are you?
Good. How are you doing, Magic
I'm
Monet?
doing amazing, preparing myself for a big project.
This is your first semester at Playing Card Design School. This is
Yeah,
class 101. We're going to talk about your new deck that you've designed, if you want to talk about that, and what it takes to make a deck of playing cards.
I'm actually excited to know what you think about that and what you can teach me and all the people watching, the rest of the class, you know?
The rest of the class, all four people, should
All
know
four
that
people, yeah.
how you become great at designing anything is to be cultured. And I don't mean it in a snobby way that you should be drinking tea in Paris with your pinky up or something like that. But you should have interests outside of what you're doing. So if you're designing playing cards, you should be inspired by many things, outside, inside, cinema, books, literature. You should have a breadth of information. You shouldn't just be educated from what you're doing. So you shouldn't just be looking at playing cards. You should be inspired by everything under the sun, whether it's nature or arts. You have to have a wide knowledge and you have to have life experiences, and those funnel into the work.
Yeah, I agree. I always say that everything you do, it's an expression of your inner world. And if your inner world is bigger, your expression is also bigger, it can reach way further, I don't know.
That's a great perspective, because if you only know what playing cards are, then you're just going to design something that's already been made. If you don't understand the atmosphere of what you're doing, then you're already lost. You have no clue. You're already dead in the water, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think uh, what I feel confident about this project, because I've been playing with cards for a long time, but also I've been really, really into the card industry and different kinds of paper and different printers, different brands, and that is really helpful because I think when I see a deck of cards from someone else, I can tell instantly if it's bullshit or not.
Well, you have liked cards for a long time, and in full disclosure, I've seen the cards you've made, and I actually like them. I'm actually surprised that I like them because I really don't like anything. But it's playing cards are a world. They're like cinema, right? And so you have directors. You have David Lynch, and you have David Cronenberg, and you have Guillermo del Toro, and you have all these different people who make movies, and you should be able to recognize who made the project by looking at 5 frames of film. You should know who did it. You'll know if a Guy Madden movie is his or not by looking at it, right? It's nothing else looks like a Guy Madden movie. And unfortunately, I think a lot of playing cards, I don't know who the director is. I don't know. I have no clue.
Yeah, it's like what we said on the first episode, that we said you're not only a designer, but Fulton is like an author thing, like a movie director. Like you see a movie in a deck of cards when you look at Fulton's playing cards.
Yeah, or you can at least see the insanity. I think you can see. I don't know. Someone said to me, basically Fulton's playing cards is just everything Brad liked his whole life growing up. It's all his interests, that never changed from when I was a kid. It's like making a childhood fantasy come true, and that's kind of. I agree. I mean, I've always liked funeral homes. I've always liked old clip joints. I've always liked all that stuff. And so I just like to make things that I would like to own, or that I would like to visit the establishment, or I would like to have on my bookshelf, right? I mean, so I have a personal interest in something, and that's what being an auteur is sharing your story and the things you like, and then you hope that there's kindred spirits in the world who like the same things as you, and then you're making something for them. It's not about but you don't find something that can make money and then go after that. That's the difference. That's a craftsman. A
Hmm.
craftsman understands a job. Like someone needs a house built, so I'm going to build that house because I'm going to get paid. That's different than like a wood artist or a carpenter who is making things to change the landscape, like Frank Lloyd Wright, etc. Right? We know a Frank Lloyd Wright building when we see it. So we
Yeah.
should, playing cards, they should build on them. Like your first deck, you shouldn't just keep redoing the same deck over and over again. I know some people and companies who have done that, but you should
Yeah.
just build on it. It should be you, and then you're young and I'm old, and you're going to change over time, and your interests are going to change, but it should retain what makes you you if you continue.
Yeah. It's funny because I think you're the best example of what we were saying at first, that Fulton's playing cards is a reflection of your inner world, like all your experiences of your taste.
Well, that's true for better or worse. So if you don't like me, then you really don't like the stuff.
And that's okay.
That's good. I mean, at least you know who you are, right? It's like people today kind of hide, and so everyone's so nice online, and everybody wants to be the kind person that helps everyone. But in real life, they're probably not doing that. So it's like I'm from the era of where you knew what you were getting. Like so you would hear someone talk like a crotchety old man who was really grumpy, but you knew who he was, right? But now that guy is so kind and nice and sweet, and then when you meet him in person, you're really surprised because they're not who you think they were. So I
Yeah.
mean, my cards are really, they're me. They're me. If you like them, then you probably like me. If you don't like them, then you probably can't stand me, and that's okay. You have to be willing to draw the line in the sand and have half the people on your side and half the people against you. That's just the way art is.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I'm gonna give you the best compliment ever. Uh, I was a magician. I was not into cards, but when I first saw Ace Fultons, I fell in love with playing cards, and now I'm a collector because of that. Because I tried to get every single deck of Ace Fultons that was out there. It was not easy at all because they had been around for quite a long time. But the first one I got was the original red one, the Arizona Red Ivory 37 Ace Fultons.
Oh, the red hot.
Yeah, Red Hot. Yeah, yeah. Arizona Red is vintage flat. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, that is the best compliment though. I mean, that should inspire people, right? Like that should inspire me because I'm actually touching somebody. You know, it's like movies, right? Like people say, "Oh, I wanted to be a movie director because I love John Ford's movies." I mean, that's a huge compliment that you could actually make someone do something productive with their life. So I mean, I love that. I mean, that's why you do it. Really, is to try to make the world a little bit different and to kind of make your mark. I guess I don't know, but I really appreciate that.
Hmm.
I mean, it's funny that Ace Fulton did that to you.
Yeah, I want to know, what were you thinking when you were working on Ace Fultons the first time?
I was thinking that I wanted to drive to Dan Phillips' house and scream at him for an hour straight. No, just kidding. No, no, it was probably the toughest thing I ever did. Probably the hardest project I ever worked on, and it like went through so many different versions. And usually my stuff doesn't have that many twists and turns. It was really difficult to get it to work because you don't want it to be an homage. An homage is really like, well, it's hard to explain. So you want it to be an homage because it's an homage to 1960s, 1970s playing cards. I mean, obviously, I didn't invent the casino cards. Real casinos did. I wanted it to be inspired by that, but I didn't want to just copy it and slap a different word on it. Like I don't want to do a Harry Nugget instead of Jerry's Nugget. I don't need to copy the exact thing that exists, but you want to capture the essence of what it is and make your own and hopefully make it better, which it must have been okay because a lot of people liked using them. And so it's hard to get there. Dan Phillips said that there's nowhere to hide on Ace Fulton because it's so simple. Like in clip joint, you can add some filigrees and some swirls, and you can kind of hide the place where you don't have an exact idea, and it'll look okay. But Ace Fulton is just right there. It's like a full frontal nudity. It's a completely naked, and there's nothing you can hide. I mean, that's it. There's no wig you can put on. I mean, it's a bald deck. It's the way it is. So
Yeah.
it's difficult, and it's like I think that it had that dual element where the typography, the logo is a spade, which is synonymous with playing cards and the genre of playing cards. But the typography actually made the design, which I mean, that was hard to do. That was hard to do. I remember pulling the car over like 10 different times, calling Dan Phillips with new ideas or how much I hated the way that it was going. Or, before that point, we had never even had like an argument. I don't know that it's an argument. I mean, Dan Phillips is still one of my best friends, but there was definitely moments where you thought it was never going to work.
Yeah. If you don't know, guys, what Ace Fulton's really is, I'm gonna show you. This is the design for Ace Fulton's. This is brown. You can't see it because this is a black and white video, but this one is brown.
Well, see the corners. See the corners on the playing card are a notch. So if you look down the barrel, if you look at a revolver, like a gun, like an Old West shootout, the chamber, which has the bullets, the 6 chambers that have the 6 bullets are curved like that. So it's really the barrel of a gun. It's the chamber. It's a cylinder, as they call it. It's a cylinder of an old like Magnum is what the curves at the corners are.
Do you like guns?
No, but I don't like guns. I do like the iconography of guns. So guns have been a part of American cinema, American frontier life, unfortunately America today, right? So I'm not a gun crazy guy. I don't love buying guns and collecting them, but I like the iconography of them, right? If you watch Clint Eastwood movies, you like guns in cinema, which Hollywood seems to be the biggest lover of guns ever because they put guns in everything that's ever been made, for the last century. But it's in Vegas, and Nevada is the Old West. Believe it or not, Nevada is the Old West. It's a frontier place, as was California, and it just fit the aesthetic. Like the spade in Ace Fulton's has those same chambers. If you look at it, it has the same notches. It's essentially Ace Fulton's spade is essentially looking down the barrel of a 44 Magnum.
I'm checking that right now because I want to know. I want to understand what you're saying. Give me 1 second. Okay.
It's carrying out a theme.
Look at
the Ace of Spades.
I'm gonna show you, guys. Look at this. This is the ace. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yep.
That part. That's amazing.
Well, that's also the sight. So the barrel of the gun is in the middle, and then that's a sight. That's like your aiming apparatus right there. I mean, it's it's like a filigree. I mean, it's like an old spade that you would have had in the 60s or 70s, but it's carrying out a theme of kind of the frontier or the Old West. And Vegas was very much the Wild West. I mean, the creation of Vegas is the Wild West, really, if you think about it. To build an illegal casino, gambling was illegal in everywhere, but then to build a place where sin, which they called Sin City, right? So like all of your vices were legal in Vegas. It's the most Wild West thing of all time. Gambling is illegal all over that whole region, but then you make a place where you can have, gambling, horse betting, everything bad is a daily reality in Nevada. Well, not Nevada, but Vegas.
Yeah. What was your biggest reference? If you think about older decks like Ohio-made casino decks, what was your biggest inspiration?
Dan and Dave had the best collection ever of old casino decks. I mean, I think they sold them all off, or maybe they're in a warehouse somewhere. I don't know, but they had a glass table with 1 million different casino decks under it. And I would just look at them. And of course, Jerry's Nugget, I mean, I saw every day, but that wasn't my big inspiration. I like the old Dunes playing cards quite a bit. I really like the
Those are
Dunes.
great.
They're great cards. I liked a lot of the old Tobacco Company decks as well. I think it's probably Dunes. I mean, I don't know. I was looking at all of them. Like I was looking at Golden Nugget, Frontier, all of it. Also, growing up in Southern California, going to Vegas and seeing that kind of stuff. So when I was a kid in the 80s, a lot of the stuff from the 60s was still there. Like now Vegas is totally different. It's like a corporate Disneyland, and it's not the same. But when I was a kid, a lot of the stuff was still there that looked the same, right? Like the floor, the carpet. So like I kind of just soaked all that up and then out came the deck.
That's amazing. I think you made maybe one of the most iconic decks of all time. It's an amazing deck in every aspect if you think about it. Like the cambric finish, the ivory finish, the design itself, never done before, or maybe it's like a reinterpretation of the old casino designs. That's an amazing thing. It's so sad that everyone tried to rip off Ace Fultons after that for such a long time. I'm so happy that that's done. That is not happening today because it was total bullshit and we all know it. But
You're the best. You're the best, first of all. Second of all, I think it's because casino cards aren't as popular as they were. I think that playing card collectors aren't as into casino cards as they were. So when that trend comes back around, you'll see the Ace Fulton merry-go-round start up again. Because I mean, there's blatant ripoffs of that deck that people actually bought and would say is a great deck, and it has no heart, it has no spirit. It's just a joke. It's a cash grab. It's not like every aspect of Ace Fulton's was legitimately thought out as if I were living in that time. It was not like, let's make this cool. It was, let's really do it as if I owned my own casino back then. Like the biggest argument with Dan Buck on Ace Fulton's was the small pips. Like I told him, Ace Fulton would have had small pips because he doesn't want anyone seeing his hand at the table. So the pips have to be small so no one can get a glance at them. And then Dan said, no, they would have traditional Arco backs and like, the US playing card font. And I'm like, no. That's not how it works here. It's got to be small so it's concealed. And Dan was adamant that it had like the US playing card, the original backs, right? Like the Arcos. He loves Arcos. I do too, but I don't want that for that. I mean, every single detail of that deck has so many things packed in it. It was absolutely not like, it would have been so much easier for me to just rip off the Jerry's Nugget thing and put Brad's Nugget,
Yeah.
That would have been better. It would have been so easy for me.
Yeah. But I'm happy. I'm really happy that you didn't listen to Dan. I'm really happy because I think the small pips on Ace Fultons are maybe, these are the best faces on a deck of playing cards that I've ever seen. Like there's nothing like this. It's amazing.
Well, I really appreciate it. Also, it's like nothing's really, the cards aren't white. They're an off-white. They're like tobacco stained cards. I don't know. That was just like, that's something you look back at now and you just think like, oh, that was actually a good idea. I mean, when you do cards as long as I have, you look back at some of them and you're like, that was kind of, I'm talking about things I never printed. I never really printed a deck that I look at and cringe now, thankfully. But there are ideas I have that I look at these notebooks and I think that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Thank God I didn't have the money to make that, But Ace Fulton's an idea that I look at and think, that's a great idea. That was really, I wouldn't change one thing on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, something really good about Ace Fultons is that it doesn't matter what your taste is because you can find so many different editions and all of them have something special, like individually something special, So you have, if you like smooth finish, you have the first red and blue. If you like more like, I don't know, classic decks, I think Tobacco and the orange one, they are crazy good. Like they have this smell on them that it's unbelievable. The smell is like a drug itself. If you're like a more a more dark guy, you have Midnight Fuel, one of the best ones. Look at this. I know this is not show and tell, but this deck was the most expensive deck that I used to own back in the day when I was in acting school. I spent all the money I had in the world to get it, and it's a Midnight Fuel signed by Dan and Dave.
How cool is that? I mean, dude, I love
Yeah,
looking at that thing. I still love that seal. Like, I love that deck, and I'm glad that and now you're a big successful guy. So now it's nothing to you. It's just cheap change.
that's not true. It's still in my cabinet, like on a display.
No, no, no. I mean, like, now you're not broke. Now you're not broke. You can afford
Oh
your
yeah,
completos and your
my
piscola and all
piscola.
this. Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
yeah, of
good.
course.
But even more importantly, though, is that you like the deck Ace Fulton. It got you into cards, and then now you've made your own playing cards, which is cool. I mean, I believe it or not, I actually like that people make their own stuff. It's just that most of it's bad. Your
Yeah, I
project's
mean,
actually good.
most of everything sucks anyway,
Well, it
so
does. It
it's
does.
okay.
It's all a cash grab. It's not built from the ground up. It is looking at an opportunity to make money. And that's fine if you're making a food or a drink, that's fine. But it's not going to be art, like you have to really love what you're doing.
Yeah. If you want to give some advice for someone who wants to create his own deck of cards.
You have to know why. I mean, you have to have such a burning desire. Like when I had the idea for Fulton's Clip Joint, it would not leave. Like, I had to make that a reality, and there was zero chance of it making me $1. There was zero chance of me making a second deck. It just had to be done, and it was such a great idea at the time that Dan and Dave really believed in it and thought that that needed to happen. And so you need to really know why you're making it. It's not just because you have an extra couple $1,000 sitting around. It's not because you think that you can turn 2,000 in, or 5,000 into 10,000. You have to have like a very deep understanding of the history of playing cards too. I do believe that you should really have an understanding of what you're getting into. Like, if you're going to direct a movie, you should have an appreciation for the history of cinema. You should listen to Martin Scorsese when he talks about what things mean, or why something works, why something doesn't work. Playing cards are like that. Like, you should look at Jason McKinstry's book, Paper Empires, or the Instagram account Pipnosher, Mr. Pierce. You should look at his stuff, because there's a really great, it's such a great history that you have of playing cards. You should really school yourself in it. It's not just like you can start today and be a postmodern guy and slap your logo on the back of a deck. You should really know who came before you and where it's going. I think that's part of the problem. You're an aficionado of playing cards. You understand these old cards, these new cards. So you're someone that should be doing it. I don't think you should make a deck unless you're very, very educated on why you want to do it.
Yeah, I think the same thing, and I think also that it's a very nice way to remember how we started this episode. You need to expand your inner world to expand also the quality of your expression.
Absolutely. You really, I think that that's missing in all things today, like all art forms. Like you may talk to a young painter today, and then they say, oh, anyone can paint. Like Andy Warhol just screen printed stuff, right? Or I don't need to look at the Renaissance paintings. I don't really like religious paintings. But you're really missing out on so much just personal fulfillment, right? I mean, like, you should look at Bosch and look at his style and look at like how he captures light, and you should try to do it. And maybe it's not your thing, but you should kind of have an understanding, right, of what came before you. I mean, that's like human history is just a building block. I mean, we drive in cars. Like, we had a horse-drawn carriage, not even that long ago, and now you have cars. So you had to build, you had to look and see, okay, what's better than the horse? And you had to think about that. Why should you waste your time building a car? Because it's better than the horse. So you should look at playing cards and say, why should I build a playing card deck? Because it's going to be better or add something to a timeline of history. It's not just about you. It's not this selfish world that like, oh, I'm just going to do it and put my name on it because I'm the coolest thing that ever lived. Like I sometimes look back at Andrew Dougherty's work and I think, how the hell did he accomplish that? You know, like how do you make that back then? I mean, like women were cutting playing cards with scissors. They were all hand cut, and then he invents a stamping machine to uniformly stamp playing cards. That's something cool. Like you should like the book Paper Empires is so freaking good if you don't have it from Jason McKinstry. He really did so much of this, you know, deep dive on the history of tax stamps and like all this cool stuff. Like I'm a playing card nerd. Like I'm very honored. Like you should be very honored to be a part of the legacy of playing card history. You know, now you're going to be part of playing card history. You have your own playing card deck. It's important. You have a responsibility to make sure that you're not fucking it up. That's how I see it.
I totally agree with you. If you start working out of selfishness, we can tell. Like we as a part of the community that buys playing cards, we can tell. Like I
don't
you,
think people can tell. I don't agree with that. I think that people don't. I think most people don't care or don't think about that, and that's fine. I mean, I don't think people have ever really thought that much about things. You know, that's why you have cinema the way it is today. But I think that like people really, if you want, well, it's okay. So if you want to just do a cash grab and slap a logo on something or rip off an old casino card and change a word, you know, like you're using different adjectives and now we think that you're very clever and smart and you can make a couple $1,000 and then you won't be here in 10 years. That's fine. But if you want to really like get into it and you have such a passion that you love the history of something and you need to be a part of it, then you have to do some homework. And, you know, maybe you spend a couple of years really looking at what you can add to it. Otherwise, I mean, just go work at Apple Computer, go get a stable job. You know, like this isn't for normal people, man. Like normal people do not do what I do. It's a freaking grind. It is so much work. And then sometimes there's zero payoff. Sometimes you will not make a dime. And the payment was in having a project to do. You got to do an awesome project. Like right now, if someone contacted me and I run the numbers and I'm not going to make shit. Like if I look at my time that I spend on it, maybe I made $5 an hour. I'll still do it. I will still do it because I want to have the right to have the experience of doing it. That's it. Of course I want to make money. Everybody wants to make money. That's how you survive in the modern world. But you should do it for something more. That you now have the right to experience something. That's what it's about.
What a great way to finish an episode. That could be written on a book. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, no, but I'm really serious about it. Like, it's such a great thing to be a part of. If you're watching this, you want to make a playing card deck, absolutely. You can email me. You can ask me a question. Don't ask me to help you design it. Don't ask me to finance it. Don't ask me to send you free cards. I'm not going to do that. But I can absolutely give you an inspirational little tidbit to make you want to work harder, you know, which you should. It's fun, right? I mean, you just designed a playing card deck. It's fun. It's exciting. It has ups and downs.
I think you're right. And I have to say, it's true. You can reach out to Brad, as I did, like, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago, I don't know. But he's really open to talk with people about playing cards all the time. It doesn't matter what it is you want to ask. If people need some advice of how to use cards, you can contact me.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please contact Monet. Any using cards, because you don't want me to embarrass myself. I will look like a fool. Please contact him. But you know, I will say that you sent me some of your early designs for your cards, and I'm blown away. I think that they are absolutely amazing. And I think anyone watching this, you should just wait until his cards come out and take a look. I mean, like when I saw them, I didn't look at it and say, oh, this is a ripoff of blank. It actually looked like you had thought about what you wanted something to look like, which is, it sounds so simple, but it's not. It's very difficult.
Thank you for saying that. I actually worked very hard in trying to figure out what I wanted to do, because I wanted to my idea was to do something or talk about something that I don't know, that was not related to playing cards, and that I wanted to talk about something that was not. I don't know how to express myself at this point, but I didn't
Well, you
want to
do
talk about
because you made the
something
deck.
old. Yeah, I didn't want to talk about something we all have heard before in the playing card community. You know.
Well, I mean, your deck is amazing, and you know that I would tell you if I thought it was trash. I really would.
Of course,
I
I know. I've heard it before, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's some things aren't good. A lot of things I do are bad. The worst. Before we go, I will tell you something. We're going to end on this. This is the funeral of it. Is the worst moment for me as a playing card designer was reaching back out to my old friend Dan Phillips, where it all started, and he's never bullshitted me in his life. And I sent him what I thought was the final version of Funeral, and I sent him this thing, and I said, "What do you think?" And he said, it's looking really good. This is a great early beginning to the deck. And I thought, what does he mean early beginning? This thing is done. And I was just crushed. And I said, oh, I was going to print this. And he said, I don't think it's up to Fulton's quality standards yet, but the ideas are great and you're getting there. And when I heard that, I felt sick. I thought, wow, how could he not like this? But I can't get mad at him, right? I have to look at what the problem is. And after I looked at it, I thought, how could I think that was done? It's terrible. And I stayed up for like 48 hours after that, like literally not sleeping for 2 days, like doing 80 million versions, thinking, what do I do now? And I was just lost. And then after 48 hours, I was basically done and sent him back the final version. And he's like, now we're talking. Now that's great. Right. And so I know I could trust him because he already told me the first one was shit, but he's very polite. But like, you have to hear it, right? Like, it made me a better person and a better designer. You can't just lash out and say, screw him. What does he know? You got to look at who you're talking to. I mean, Dan Phillips is a freaking genius. So that's it, so you go from the highs to the lows, but it's all about you making it better and not putting out crap.
That's an awesome advice if you think about it, because how many times have you do something and you think it's good and you show to someone else and they're like, yeah.
You can always tell. And I'm talking about asking someone who you respect, maybe your girlfriend or someone who you know their level of taste. And when you get that feeling back that it's not the best thing they've seen, it sucks, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, it's helpful anyway. It helps you to grow and have a more mature vision for the things that are coming. If something sucks, it makes no sense to ask money for it anyway.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, is that nobody has an ugly baby, but the world is full of ugly people.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
That should tell you.
I agree.
Tell you all
Yeah,
you need
I
to know
agree.
about making anything. Everyone has their little baby, and it's all perfect. And I'm not talking about real babies, right? I'm talking about metaphorically. Our little projects are our little babies, and they can't be homely. But in reality, that's just a part of it. Is that you're going to have some ugly babies, and you can't leave it at that. Now, again, I'm not talking about human beings. I'm saying that our projects are a baby, and some of them are just plain ugly.
That's awesome, Brad. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Magic Monet.
For being so open to trash about other people's work. That's my favorite thing to do. So, yeah.
Well, I trashed myself too. I'm not immune to it.
Yeah. If you're listening to Brad's words, please leave a comment and let us know if you agree, if you don't agree, if you want to add something. It will help us understand what you think.
But if you're not a fan of Morrissey singing, please don't comment, because I already know that you just haven't heard Real Beauty yet.
That makes total sense. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Monet. You're the best.
No, you're the best. You're the best. Have a great rest of your week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.